The snow fell like silent accusations outside the frosted windows of our suburban Chicago home, blanketing the quiet streets of Oak Park in a deceptive peace. Inside, the aroma of roasted turkey and cinnamon-spiced apple pie hung heavy in the air, mingling with the laughter of my family gathered around the holiday table. I, Alina Rossi, 67 years old and freshly retired from teaching high school English, stood at the head of the table, my hands trembling as I carved the bird I'd spent all morning perfecting. My son, Marco, sat beside his wife, Sophia, their two kids fidgeting with excitement over the twinkling Christmas lights strung across the mantel. But then Sophia's voice cut through the warmth like a knife through ice. "You're not sitting here, Alina. Not tonight. You've hovered enough always in the way, criticizing my parenting, my cooking, my everything. This is our family dinner. Go eat in the kitchen like the help you insist on being." The room went deathly quiet. My fork slipped from my fingers, clattering against the china. Marco avoided my eyes, staring at his plate as if it held the secrets to the universe. The kids, my grandchildren, little Ava and Luca, looked up with wide, confused stares. Humiliation poured into this family. And here I was, banished like a stranger in my own home. I felt my heart shatter into 1,000 icy shards, the kind that pierce and never fully melt away. How had it come to this? But this wasn't the end. It was the spark that ignited everything. Let me take you back to the days when life felt like a warm hearth in the midst of a Midwest winter. I grew up in a modest bungalow on the outskirts of Chicago, where snow days meant building forts in the backyard and sipping hot cocoa by the radiator. My husband, Tony, was a mechanic with hands as steady as his love. We met at a neighborhood block party, dancing under string lights to Frank Sinatra records. We married young, in a simple ceremony at St. Mary's Church, with snowflakes dusting our shoulders as we said our vows. Tony promised me forever, and for 42 years, he delivered. Our son, Marco, arrived on a blustery February morning, his cries echoing through the halls of Northwestern Memorial Hospital. He was our miracle, with Tony's dark curls and my hazel eyes. We raised him in that same Oak Park home, filling it with the sounds of little league games, piano lessons, and family trips to Lake Michigan. Summers meant picnics on the sandy shores, watching sailboats skim the water while Marco built castles that rivaled the skyline. Winters were for ice skating at Millennium Park, where we'd glide hand, laughing as flurries swirled around us. Tony and I worked hard, me shaping young minds in the classroom, him fixing engines at the local garage to give Marco the world, college at the University of Illinois, a down payment on his first car, endless support through his ups and downs. When Tony passed 5 years ago from a sudden heart attack, the world dimmed. It was a crisp autumn day, leaves crunching underfoot as I walked our dog along the tree-lined streets. He collapsed in the garage, tools still in hand. The grief was a blizzard that buried me, but Marco pulled me through, or so I thought. He was there for the funeral, holding my hand as we scattered Tony's ashes over the lake he loved. "Mom, we'll get through this together," he whispered, his voice breaking. That's when Sophia entered the picture. They met at a networking event in downtown Chicago. She was a rising star in event planning, all sharp suits and ambitious smiles. Marco, a quiet accountant with a gentle soul like his father's, was smitten. I liked her at first. Her energy seemed to light up his reserved nature. Their wedding was a fairy tale, held at a cozy venue overlooking the Chicago River, with string quartets and floral arches. I walked Marco down the aisle, tears streaming as I placed his hand in hers. "Take care of each other," I said, hugging them both. The twins came soon after, Eva and Luca, born on a snowy Christmas Eve, their tiny cries a gift amid the holiday chaos. I was there in the delivery room, holding Sophia's hand through the pain, whispering encouragements. From then on, I poured myself into grandma diaper changes, midnight feedings, story time with classic books from my teaching days. When they struggled with Bill, Sophia's career demanding travel, Marco's job steady but not lavish, I stepped in. "Let me help," I insisted. I used Tony's life insurance and my retirement savings to buy them a charming 3-bedroom colonial in nearby Naperville, a suburb with good schools and snowy parks perfect for sledding. The deed stayed in my name, a precaution Tony had always advised. Family is forever, but protect what's yours. Month after month, I covered the mortgage, $2,400, a pop plus utilities, homeowner's insurance, even linking my card for Sophia's essentials, designer clothes for client meetings, spa days to distress, lavish birthday parties for the kids that rivaled royal affairs. It added up, nearly $300,000 over 4 years, dipping into my nest egg. But I did it gladly, imagining Tony smiling down, proud of our legacy. Yet, cracks appeared like ice on a frozen lake. Sophia's visits to my Oak Park home grew rare. She'd cancel at the last minute, citing scheduling conflicts when I dropped by their place unannounced. Bearing homemade lasagna scented with basil from my garden, she'd greet me with a tight smile. Alina, we appreciate it, but the kids are on a strict organic diet now. Marco would hover in the background, offering awkward hugs but never defending me. Holidays shifted to Thanksgiving at her parents' in Wisconsin. Easter brunches where I was an afterthought. My birthday cards arrived late, if at all, and gifts I'd sent for the kids. Scarves for winter walks sat unopened in corners. The exclusion stung, but I swallowed it, telling myself it was the chaos of young family life. Until that fateful Christmas Eve, when the snowstorm of betrayal hit full force. The gathering was at their Naperville home, the one I'd bought and maintained. I'd arrived early, arms laden with groceries, fresh turkey from the local butcher, cranberries for sauce, ingredients for Tony's famous stuffing. The house glowed with light icicles dangling from the eaves, a towering tree in the living room adorned with ornaments from our family collection. Ava and Luca rushed to me, their cheeks rosy from the cold. Nona, look what we made. They thrust forward paper snowflakes, glitter sparkling like fresh powder. Sophia emerged from the kitchen, her hair perfectly apron tied over a sleek red dress. Alina, you're here early. Again, her tone was clipped, eyes scanning the bags as if they were intrusions. Marco trailed behind, murmuring a hello without meeting my gaze. As we set the table, tensions simmered. Sophia critiqued my pie crust to flaky. It'll crumble, and rearranged the centerpieces I'd brought. Family arrived. My sister Maria from the city, Marco's cousins from the south side. Laughter filled the air. But Sophia's comments needled. Alina, sit down. You're blocking the light. No, we don't need more wine. The kids are watching. Commenced amid the clink of silverware and the soft hum of carols from the stereo. I passed plates, beaming at the spread. But when I went to take my seat next to Ava, Sophia blocked me with a hand on the chair. Actually, Alina, we've set a place for you in the kitchen. It's cozier there. And honestly, your stories about the old days, they're a bit much for the kids tonight. Her words landed like a slap. The table fell silent. Maria's fork hovered midair, eyes wide. The cousins exchanged glances. Ava tugged at Sophia's sleeve. But Nona always sits with us. Luca's lip quivered. Marco cleared his throat but said nothing, fiddling with his napkin. Betrayal twisted in my gut a cold, unrelenting ache. This woman, whom I'd welcomed like a daughter, now cast me aside in front of everyone. My cheeks burned. Tears pricked my eyes. I wanted to scream, to demand respect, but instead, I nodded numbly. Of course, enjoy your meal. I retreated to the kitchen, the door swinging shut behind me like a final judgment. Alone, surrounded by the remnants of prep meals and pots, I sank onto a stool, heart pounding. The laughter from the dining room echoed mockingly. How had my generosity turned me into this? Invisible, disposable. Outside, snow piled higher, mirroring the weight on my chest. I ate in silence, each bite tasting of ash. Flashes of happier times assaulted me. Tony and I hosting boisterous Christmases, Marco as a boy unwrapping presents by the fire. Now, it was all unraveling. Driving home that night, the roads slick with ice, I gripped the wheel until my knuckles widened. Streetlights blurred through tears. Enough. I'd given everything, my savings, my time, my lavande, received scorn in return. Tony's voice echoed in my mind. Alina, you're stronger than you know. By the time I pulled into my driveway, resolve hardened like frozen ground. That evening, in the quiet of my living room, fire crackling and handled Tony's estate. It's time, I said. We'd prepared for this months ago, after subtle warnings from friends about Sophia's spending. The house deed, still mine. Bank statements documented every transfer. I canceled the mortgage autopay, the utilities in my name, the insurance, Sophia's linked card severed, and the eviction notice 60 days. Certified mail would arrive by morning. Christmas morning dawned crisp and bright, sunlight glinting off fresh snow. My phone buzzed incessantly. Missed calls from Marco, frantic texts from Sophia. Payments declined. What's going on? Alina, this must be a mistake. I sipped coffee by the window, watching cardinals flit through bare branches. No response. Instead, I bundled up and drove to Lake Michigan, the wind whipping waves into frothy peaks. Walking the snowy shore, boots crunching, I breathed in the sharp, salty air. For the first time in years, I felt free. By noon, they were at my door. Sophia pounded, her designer coat dusted with flakes. Open up, Alina. This is insane. Marco stood beside her, shoulders slumped. Through the peephole, I saw desperation in their eyes. But I stayed inside, curtains drawn, security camera recording every frantic knock. They left after an hour, tires spinning on ice. The backlash came swift. Sophia, ever the event planner, took 2 social media Facebook groups for Naperville moms. Instagram stories dripping with faux tears. Heartbroken. My mother-in-law is evicting us right before the new year. After all we've done for her, she painted me as senile, ungrateful, a holiday Grinch. Comments poured in, initially sympathetic. But then the tide turned. Old neighbors chimed in. I saw Sophia yell at Alina in the grocery store parking lot last winter. Pure venom. Former colleagues from Marco's firm. She bragged about charging luxury trips to a card, screenshots of her extravagant post-ski weekends in Aspen. Spa retreats indoor county circulated, exposing the truth. The post backfired spectacularly. Friends unfollowed, clients canceled. Marco, poring over the spreadsheet I'd emailed him weeks prior, a quiet heads-up he'd ignored, confronted the reality. Years of unchecked spending, no emergency fund, debts mounting. That night, he called alone. Mom, I can't believe I let this happen. His voice cracked. I'm filing for divorce. I need to fix this. The confrontation came 2 days later. In my cozy kitchen, steam rising from mugs of hot cider. Sophia arrived, uninvited, eyes red-rimmed, but her poise cracked. You can't do this, Alina. Think of the kids. Marco stepped forward. No, Sophia, this ends now. You've manipulated us all. Tears flowed as accusations flew her control. His silence, my endurance. I stayed calm, voice steady. I loved you like family, but love isn't a blank check. The house is mine. You have 60 days. She stormed out into the snow, slamming the door. Divorce papers were served by week's end. Marco moved temporarily to a modest apartment in Evanston, closer to work. The kids stayed with him half-time, their little faces puzzled but resilient. Breaking the news to Ava and Luca was the hardest. We met at a snowy park in Oak Park, benches dusted white. I knelt to their level, breath fogging the air. Sweethearts, Mommy and Daddy are going to live in different houses now, but that doesn't change how much we love you. Ava's eyes welled up. Is it because of Christmas, Nona? When Mummy was mean, my heart twisted. No, but sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, but we're fixing them. Luca hugged me tight, his mittens woolly against my coat. Will we still have snowball fights with you? I laughed through tears. Every winter, forever. We built a snowman right there, rolling balls until our cheeks were pink, sealing promises with hot chocolate afterward. Healing didn't come overnight. I started therapy with Dr. Lena Patel, a warm soul in a downtown office overlooking the river. Our sessions were lifelines. Alina, you've been the giver for so long, she'd say, her voice gentle. What do you need? We'd unpack the pain, the betrayal like a winter chill seeping into bones. Breakthroughs came in waves, realizing my worth wasn't tied to their gratitude. Forgiving Marco's weakness, releasing resentment toward Sophia. Anger is like holding hot coal, Dr. Patel quoted. It burns you first. I journaled by the fire, pages filling with reflections, Tony's laugh, Marco's first steps, my own dreams deferred. New routines bloomed. Mornings, yoga in the sunroom, watching dawn paint the snow pink. Afternoons, volunteering at the local library, reading to kids bundled in scarves. Evenings, walks along Lake Michigan, waves crashing like applause for my resilience. Small victories stacked. Learning to cook for one, indulging in bubble baths, scented with lavender, joining a book club where laughter echoed like old friends. Spring thawed the snow, and with it, new chapters. I sold the Naperville house proceeds, funding a cozy condo for Marco and the kids, the rest bolstering my savings. Our first post-divorce holiday was Easter, at my Oak Park home. No tension, just baskets hidden in melting drifts. Egg hunts in the yard. Ava and Luca's giggles filled the air as Marco helped dye eggs, his smile genuine for the first time in years. By summer, Marco had a new job promotion, confidence rebuilt. We took the kids to Lake Michigan, picnicking on the same shores of my memories. Waves lapped gently as we built sandcastles, the sun warming our skin. Mom, thank you, Marco said, eyes misty, for everything. I'm sorry I lost my way. I hugged him. We're found now, son. Winter returned, snow blanketing Chicago once more. Our family redefined, stronger gathered for Christmas. No exclusions, just love around the table. As flakes danced outside, I raised a glass to new beginnings. If you've ever felt invisible in your own story, like your heart's warmth is taken for granted, remember this: you are enough. Your light doesn't dim because others can't see it. Reclaim it, one snowy step at a time. If this touched you, share it. You deserve warmth from inside.